Welcome to this Channel Futures Fast Chat, exploring trends in security, orchestration, automation, and response. I'm Jason Ankeny, Channel Futures Director of Content Marketing, and I'm joined today by Stephen Talent, Fortinet Senior Director, MSSP and Service Enablement. Stephen, always a pleasure to talk to you, and let's start off this particular discussion by looking at today's Security Operations Center teams. What are the biggest challenges that those folks are facing?
Well, there's a lot of them, right? So I think that they break down into four primary challenges facing, the Security Operations Center today. There's a lot of vendors in there. There's a lot of swivel chair management involved in multiple vendors being in play in those environments. And there's a ton of alerts. So it's hard to separate the wheat from the chaff from the perspective of all the alerts that are coming in and then to take action on the alerts that actually are important. As well, the manual and slow response times are impacting the security efficacy of the SOC and being able to respond to threats that could be happening in real time. And then you've got the lack of trained people. You've got a real underage, a real dearth in the kind of experience needed to operate in the Security Operations Center. So I think those are the big ones.
Okay. So how can SOAR improve the security effectiveness of cyber defenders?
Well, for one, it can unify the incident response management process, right? So when things happen, SOAR can unify that response and allow teams to work together that maybe across shifts, maybe the night shift and the day shift, et cetera. The automation of alert triage is important as well, because we talked about how many alerts were coming in. And then the optimization of the SOC, in ensuring efficiencies, operational efficiencies for the SOC in responding to and dealing with different, different threats that are facing the MSSP's customers. And then collaboration. I think case management is really an important factor that is oftentimes not a part of a SOAR solution. Having that seamless case management that goes across the shifts. So I think those are the key components that I would state.
Fantastic. What about service provider profit margins? What impact can SOAR have there?
Well, your number one cost of goods sold for a service, that you deliver to a customer is your operational expenses, right? That's the smart humans. We talked about how there's a real lack of those kind of operators out there, an underage of those type of operators. They're expensive folks, right? And so if you have them doing a lot of manual labor, spending a lot of time or dealing with having to replace folks that just burn out due to alert triage and a quality of life kind of impact of being in a SOC and dealing with that kind of overflow of information. So if you've got your folks doing a lot of manual labor, you're not maximizing your efficiencies and not maximizing your profitability, because you're attriting your profit margins by the amount of time spent, operationally for expensive operators.
What differentiates Fortinet's SOAR platform from the rest of the field?
Really, I think it boils down to case management. I think there are quite a few different SOAR platforms out there today, and in the review of those other vendors and manufacturers of different SOAR platforms, the one thing that I see as repetitively sort of a missing factor is the case management. And I think at the end of the day, this is an operational requirement, and having a case management capability built into the platform is a real differentiator from the other vendors that I see out there today.
Stephen, excellent analysis as usual. As always, thank you for your time and your insight. And thanks to everyone for joining us.